Welcome back. So we've already seen how functions work and we want to take it a step further. Now remember I mentioned that functions can have arguments. Well, let's see how we can use arguments with functions. First thing, I want to get rid of two of the calls I have here and also just get rid of this howdy line. Okay, so now we have our function with a single call. If I refresh, I just get hello. Okay, so how can we pass arguments to our function? First off, what are arguments? Well, arguments are simply just variables that you pass through your function. So they behave exactly just like variables. They create memory spaces, but we send them not by defining them as standalone variables that we have seen previously in this tutorial, but we define them by setting their names within the parentheses or within the brackets of a function. So since they are variables, they follow the same naming rules that you would follow when creating a regular variable. So for instance, we want to create a new argument called name. Now if we were doing a variable, we would have something like var name name equals to, and we provide the name. Okay, that's for a regular variable, but when we're doing functions, it's a bit different. We want a variable called name, and within the parentheses of the function, we just provide a variable name, which is name. Now name is the variable, and everything you can do with a variable, you can do it with name, but within the body of the function. So for instance, we can actually concatenate name to hello. So we can have hello plus name. Okay, concatenating hello name. So we have hello plus whatever name we pass. So the next thing is, how do we set a value? Now when working with functions that have an argument, when you call the function, there will be a slight difference. Now remember, we just call this function here without passing anything into this bracket, and that was because our function did not have any argument at the time, but now we does have an argument, so we need to provide something here. So what do we provide here? Well, since we have a variable that is been defined here as an argument, you need to provide the value that will be assigned to that variable, and in this case we want a string value. So let's say John. So what happens when you call the function providing the value as an argument here, John gets assigned to this variable here, name. Okay, and so the value within the variable name becomes John. So it's pretty much like saying let name equals John. So when we print out hello plus name at this point is John, and so we should get hello John. If I save this, refresh, sure enough we get hello John. But what's the advantage of doing this over just maybe creating multiple variables or just concatenating the string itself? Well, if I should duplicate this function call, now I can actually change the name here. So rather than pass John, I can pass in Mary, for instance. If I should save and refresh, now see we have hello John, hello Mary. Why? Because at this point we assigned the value John to name, so we were able to print hello John. And then we moved on here to the next function call, and at this point we sent in Mary, so name is equal to the value Mary, and so we get hello Mary. Also note that you can have more than one argument in your function. In this case we have one, earlier we had none, but you can have as many as possible. So if we just need a new argument, you just separate them by using a comma. So for instance, I can have comma age, so to provide two arguments, name and age. Now, just as before, when we had name as an argument, you had to provide the value for name. Now we have age, so we have to provide the value for both name and age. So we can modify what we already have, and rather than just John, we can put use a comma as well to separate the values. So let's say we want an integer value for the age, and I'm providing 30 for the first call, and second I'm just use 23. So we have John will be sent to name, and 30 will be sent to age during this first function call, and in the second, Mary goes to name, 23 goes to age. But if you notice, we aren't using the age here, so let's do that. I will just concatenate a very simple string, hello, the name, full stop, your age, colon, quotes, and concatenate the age, so that we can have hello, the name, followed by this. So save, refresh. It's a slight error somewhere. Okay, I forgot to concatenate here. Save, refresh, and we should have hello John, okay, age 30, hello Mary, age 23. You can see that the values being shown are based on the argument that will pass in here. Remember, if you have an additional argument, you need to also provide the value for that specific argument. We would also see how we can use conditions and structure the flow of our programs as we go on, and then you would see that being able to pass arguments to a function is something that is very useful, and it will help your program a lot. So just learning this alone is setting you up for something really great.